I think we will begin. So welcome one and all to the Opus Magnum Weeklies 2022. Our fourth stream today will be the puzzle Nightmare Fuel, which is a special challenge given to us by our dear Biggie Mac. It is a big ol' cycles challenge. It's a very complicated cycles challenge, so there was sure as shit not going to be a second metric. With the special stipulation that it was Biggie versus the entire community all at once. It was open collaboration. To level the playing field a bit, Biggie got way more than a week, which I think is perfectly fair. The community themselves limited to a week. I thought this was an awesome puzzle, as much as I wasn't quite able to do it justice myself. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say the same. I think this was an awesome puzzle, and I also wasn't able to do it justice.
Awesome puzzle. I only did secondary optimization in the end. I'm not sure if I would have come up with such a low cycles count.
Yeah, so do we want to start with my solution or with the world's progression? Do we want to tell a story here, or do we just want to look at good solutions?
So there is a bit of progression before your solve, and before my solve. We had someone else submit who I decided to just include as a separate submission because I didn't see them interact with the community like at all.
Okay.
So we're going to start with a submitter, Lunvang, if I am saying that correctly, with a 56.
Welcome to the community, or to the extent that you are a part of the community. Welcome to competing.
Sorry, yeah, you are an absolute monster for taking this challenge on by yourself. It is a very intimidating task. Absolute, yeah, for this to be your first weekly, yeah, welcome. I hope we didn't scare you off.
It looks like this is a 4-cycle loop that became a 6-cycle loop after realizing the complexity. Because all the arms are attempting to do 4 things except for the one on the track in the middle. But yeah, very cool. It's making an output for 6 cycles with a decent amount of waste generated in the process, so I'm getting exposed.
Oh yeah. You can see the chugged cycles very distinctly from the non-chugged cycles. Let me read it.
So yeah, the process for this puzzle is pretty wide open. You know that like the only source of metal you have comes from the molten residue input. And there's the equivalent of 1.5 silvers in every molten residue. Technically that means you can get away with using exactly 8 of the molten residue, but it's not always convenient because the coppers and the irons come at different amounts of latency. So this solve is using 1 copper from the second input grabbed to make that 1.5 up into a nice round of 2 and throwing everything else away. In addition to all the metal complexity, there's figuring out how to get all the air for the Moors or using the Moors from the input. And there's the absolute nightmare of assembling things without running into collisions because this is a large output. I think this solution does a really good job demonstrating the puzzle as a flow from right to left, or left to right, and using the parts that are convenient to use only.
Yeah, I haven't seen Biggie solve yet, but every solution, as far as I know, at least for cycles, went right to left. Sorry, left to right.
It does have a great aesthetic if that's been done, because then you just have all of the blue in the solve on the right and all of the red on the left, and it looks like hot and cold battling it out. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The aesthetics on this are good, and the symmetric solutions are even more aesthetic, which I love.
So yeah, you can see by just how much is being thrown out on like every loop. like just how hard it is to use all of it. at max throughput, because this isn't even max throughput, just because there's so much crap.
Yeah, I'll say that my first complete solution to this was 46 cycles, and it took inputs every 3 cycles, and it had minimum latency. But it was minimum latency for throwing away a substantial amount of each input as well. Like, it was using the molten residue as 1 silver and 1 Moors, and not really taking anything else from it, and then using that every 3rd cycle. So it was like 4/9 throughput, but it was min latency.
And you can also see here, I don't know if Biggie Solve does this, but I don't think any of the other solves do, actually using air to be converted into Moors. That is very much an option.
Oh, that makes sense why this is ending up on a 6-cycle loop, that, like, you're only taking air every 2nd cycle 3 times, so there's a forced 6-cycle period.
Yeah, because it's essentially 3 air reagents per product made. It's funny because like that is a thing that like knowingly makes the solve like it knowingly makes the solve like has a lower ceiling for cycles, like the potential to like really squeeze every cycle is limited, but it makes everything so much easier because of it. Like, because you're using air 3 times per product, you only have to pull 2 of these, and you can just like wait a bit and have like plentiful regrabs here, and you can space everything out nicely, and like things don't have to move incredibly quickly.
Yeah, high latency puzzles gives you some time. Especially purification, it's kind of a blessing for cycles to have a long purification pipeline that is forced, because it leaves you the option to move things with several different arms and also still be at perfect latency.
Yeah, I thought the decision to force purification was a really clever one for this puzzle.
Yeah, I think the reason that High Gloss Finish wasn't purification only was that I wanted a cost challenge too, and purification makes cost trivial, so I wanted projection to be an aspect to that, but since this puzzle was raw cycles, I just wanted the purification latency to make... I liked the idea of the imbalance between a high latency input that you only need fewer times and a low latency input that you need more times. So like n equals 8, L equals 10 on molten residue, n equals 12, L equals 2 on the thin air. Like the theory for 27 is definitely disparate in the handling of the 2 inputs, but that doesn't necessarily mean the solution has to be, but it will be if you're close to theory. I'm curious why Lunvang is listed as 3rd. I guess 2nd and 1st are the Team World and me in some order.
Yes, that is the ordering. And I'm kind of listed as a host on the solution pastors, so I don't come up in the rankings. I'm just like honorary 3rd, 2nd, 1st, or whatever.
I see.
All right. Speaking of which, unless there's anything else, I guess we can move on.
Please do.
Alright, this is... I'm sure everyone's guessed by now. It's my turn. Okay, so, let me explain the magnitude of my failure here. Okay, so this is one of what was supposed to be 2 pipelines. So I guess we can really dive deep. Alright, so, from the outset, I was aiming for 29. I was never actually aiming for 28, but 29 was my like single-minded goal. I spent the entire time going for 29. So something that I did that I thought was clever at the beginning here is because this is the extra regrab that limits this to 29 instead of 28. So by just like throwing it on here, I pivot, reusing the same bonders instead of like swinging it over twice, which was the better option anyway, but we'll get to why. But I thought this made it nice for like secondaries, and the fact that it meant as long as nothing collided, things didn't have to travel that far, so you know, I could get away with a lot of 3-length swings. So this is the idea going to this. The part that really trips me up here is actually putting the damn thing together on the air and actually outputting it. So as Biggie mentioned, it's a big old product, and yeah, the air is kind of difficult to work with.
So one thing that kind of thwarted, so when I first opened the puzzle, I was like, well, how long can I stay perfect? How far into the process can I get without giving up any latency versus theory? And I got things assembled on a multi-bonder, like that little plus-shaped multi-bonder. I was thinking, well, that already is a failure with respect to theory, because theory says silver goes into the middle of a multi-bonder that also has air on it. And so 27 is so unbelievably restricting that I was forced to put things in places that then just didn't work. Like geometrically, if I'm following perfection, I'm failing perfection very hard. And it takes a long time to move things to where they're trying to go, error or otherwise.
Now, one thing that really killed... Alright, so there are two things that killed this. I guess with that, I will show you, you might have noticed this fail solution. This is what the whole thing was supposed to look like. And I guess I can talk about why this actually failed. Oh yeah, I haven't been keeping up with Twitch chat.
Twitch chat hasn't actually spoken up since Limvings.
Oh, okay. So the first thing that sinks me is that the orientation of the actual Nightmare Fuel, when I bond it all together, it means I can't output it symmetrically. So I have to attempt to work out two different like bonding pipelines or whatever. That was kind of the first thing that really got in the way, made things a pain in the ass. The second is that the pipeline kind of, because they both branch out, up and down. The thing is, they don't quite branch up and down far enough. So I end up being really bloody cramped.
Yep.
As you can see, yeah, there's just like no room to bond this thing.
At a conceptual level, the fact that arms are length 3 at most and glyphs take up space gives a speed limit for crossing this giant kind of solution. And if you're too small, you don't have enough room to do things. But if you're too large, you're just going to fail. So you have to find like the sweet spot. You have to intentionally make a pipeline that places its final bonding station in a smart position to get to that output conveniently. I didn't succeed.
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, neither did I. And the other problem with having the output in a spot where I can't build everything symmetrically is like the nature of this swing to have this like Y shape go into the bonder, and then like the actual swing from the bonder, the bonders to the output. That's that gets in the way of a lot of things.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
I see your little piston army there because it has to hide in the corners.
Yeah, there's a lot of everything that has to hide in the corner. You can see how many arms I squeezed in this ball in the middle. It's just a mess.
Well, yeah, perfectionism and unwillingness to redesign both kind of kill a good player's ability to finish something.
It really does, yeah. Well, the reason I would have redesigned this, I just ran out of time. I really, if I had another week, I probably could have gotten this, or something like this, like a 29 or a 30 or a 31, which I would have been happy enough with. But yeah, in reality, I only had 2 sessions, and they were 2 long-ass sessions, but they were still only 2 sessions.
Well, I mean, I had several sessions, and let's look at what came out.
All right. Do you wanna have a look at yours now?
I think so.
Okay. So spoiler alert.
Reveal time: the world won by a blowout. So you've been looking at the best solution to Nightmare Fuel ever since Spect posted a 29. I didn't have a good first digit. I made a 46, then a 36, then a 35. And the 35 was perfect latency on n equals 12. And odd one out can get you to perfect latency on n equals 10. And I did odd one out and got to 31. But I thought, okay, I have a week, now I'm going to target 30. And during that final week, I came up to the conclusion that my approach to 30 wouldn't work. That's all I was able to conclude, but because of that, I was also confident that my 31 is therefore good. So what my 31 does is it builds 1 output every 4 cycles instead of pairs of output and 2 bonding stations, which does make there be a lot more open space. I can bond things together, rotate them quickly to output. The purifier at the bottom throws its silver onto the multi-bonder with exactly that 1 bonding step to the finish. So, like, if you watch the arm pretty close to the middle that rotates silver, it rotates that silver into a complete product.
I see it. So
the bottom one. The bottom one there, yeah. So I'm putting an output out on cycle 27 using the silver from the 8th input. It's just my 4th output. Then outputs 5 and 6 land on cycles 30 and 31. 30 coming from the odd one out pipeline. And 31 coming from the main pipeline again.
See, it's just funny, because I'm just like watching this, and I'm just jealous that you had like an air bonding station that, you know, works properly.
I mean, there's still some really crazy dodges going on that air input, because I have to pull an odd one out output up through that air input while still assembling the final output.
Okay, so
that dodging is impressive.
I suppose I should mention this liqorice challenge thing. So I got beaten by Biggie. My stipulation was that for everyone who beat me, I will eat a piece of licorice. I'm holding it in my hand. I can smell it. I'm not liking it already. So I'll eat 1 for Biggie, and I'll eat a piece for everyone that contributed to the world solve. Going through it, the world solve, what was it? We had Fiesta, Spec 98, Rolani, I think Feindeer made an improvement, Cuckoo 52 made an improvement,
and Calioresis.
Yeah, that's the name I was missing. If there's anyone else you can think of?
Those are the names listed on the final product. I think Rolandi submitted it with all those names.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I submitted with all the names, but I think we didn't miss someone, but I can't be sure.
Anyway, so I do want to call out that my approaches didn't really ever consider n equals 8 viable because of my first attempts at 27 that just didn't get anything close together. N equals 8 seemed like it was going to be a rabbit hole that sucks great minds into a depth that they never emerge from. That possibly would have been true if it had been Rolomni, Pentapig, Zorflax on the n equals 8 quest. Fiesta managed to triumph at n equals 8, and they got down to 31. But then Specs N equals 8 design hit that sweet spot. The two multi-bonders at the top and the bottom of Specs original 29 were so perfect in their location because it was two swings from a symmetric output, and both of those make sense. Those two swings that both make sense give you the space to build everything from the first input up through these pipelines, and then use those multi-bonders in officially kind of three separate ways, but have the solution converge there, 2 steps away from output, and hit a theoretical 28, which wasn't a 28 at first, but with Fiesta's kind of duct tape and zip ties finisher, became a 28. And then the world knew, okay, we've got a 28 to secondarily optimize. And by that point, I was just like, I want to see this get better, but I'm sitting here kind of stewing at like my own blockers from getting to that point. I don't know if I would have gotten to that point with infinite time. Like, the layout that Spec found is astounding.
I was kind of, yeah, because I splintered off from the community right before Fiesta posted. Like, it was like a day before Fiesta posted, and then like I see Fiesta post, I'm like, oh damn, that looks awesome. I wish I could look at it more closely and help out and
download 33 and study it. No, you're on another team now.
Yeah, and then yeah, that was right after I decided to not be a part of a team. While we're talking about it, I suppose we should load it up. Absolutely awesome machine.
It got tighter and tighter as the secondary optimizations went on, but
Wait,
I want to point out the multi-bonders on the top and bottom. Oh. I win.
Oh, why doesn't it work?
I win! I'm kidding, of course. This is probably a collision checking issue with different versions of the game, because yeah, that was a near miss that Rolandi found when he was trying to get secondaries.
Oh no.
This is the modded game.
Yeah, this is modded Opus Magnum. Oh no.
Well, in the mods it won't run, but in the actual version it will. Okay, well.
Oh no. I don't know how to get around this.
I think we have this collision in a lot of the solves.
Full of previous solve, because yeah, that track loop is going to always cause that collision in the previous version of the game.
Yeah.
Alright. So that was like the latest submission. The submission before that doesn't have that issue, right?
What a funny letdown there.
Oh, gee. That was, yeah, anticlimactic. Alright, let me try and...
If we go back to 2070 before area saves, I think 2085 doesn't have that problem. I can submit it if you want.
I got a 2140 by Fiesta. I can use that one.
Sure, yeah, if it's already on your machine, that's even faster.
Yeah, it's already on my machine. I just have to make sure I delete the right one.
So this is an illegal solution, and it's the only one that they submitted. Oopsie. No. I absolutely credit the team that put this together for blowing out the competition where the competition is me. Because they were chasing not me, but they were chasing the idea of a perfect cycles optimizer, which my reputation seems to have somehow provided them with. Like, I am good, I am not perfect. I've wanted to find the Cards Against Humanity card that's like the mere concept of Applebee's. Just scrape out the word Applebee's and say, the mere concept of Biggie Mac 42. Because that seems to be what was inspiring people to chase perfection. And I'm guilty of it too. I was chasing perfection on the knowledge that that's what I would expect me to do. But I was not going to get there, and I didn't have fun with the
bonding pattern for 27 is crazy.
Yeah, the bonding for 27 is crazy. The bonding for 28 is crazy, but actually has a sweet spot layout that works.
Okay, I'm going to eat the first piece of licorice.
Yeah, the way that the bonding on the top and bottom of this solution, those two multi-bonders, allow you to slide into them with a silver, rotate to get that connected, and then rotate from there into an output that's placed symmetrically with only L equals 3 on the air, which gives you 28 without too many questions asked. It's outputs on 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Maybe 27, 28, because it's not always every 2.
Yeah, it's 27, 28.
Okay.
We have a delay for the last one of the lower pipeline.
That makes sense.
And
yeah.
We can only use the even cycles because we have to get out of the swings of the air.
Exactly. The swing of the air comes in on all except for the last one, because there's no 7th output, so that air doesn't need to exist.
So you can see, like, with my, like, I had that pivot idea where I was trying to be cute with the amount of unbonders I was using, but just having it swing twice just, like, spaces things out a lot better. It gives you that room that I was not giving myself. Once you, like, have everything, like, constructed way further out from the mirroring point. And yeah, it's the, and importantly, it's the actual orientation of the Y shape being bonded in. It's offset from, like, a symmetrical product position point so that you can swing it in nicely, like that. It's just a million times easier to work with than anything either Biggie or I came up with.
Hey Zorflex, what if I sent you a puzzle file and a solution file to show on stream? Would you be able to do that?
I can do that, yeah. Is this like a modified version of the puzzle that does something interesting?
Yeah, I want to show what my attempts at 30 that took out that last week looked like.
Okay.
It doesn't resemble the 28 at all. It was still going to be a different idea, but I made the second half of a solution without the first.
Alright.
Because yeah, this world solution makes the promise that the midpoint is that multi-bonder, and it meets that promise spectacularly. I think up until the swing off of that multi-bonder, everything is planned out by spec and executed excellently. It's the stuff on the other side of it that needed the group projects to save one cycle.
Yep, exactly.
I made something that assumed I could do a first half and would then give me 30. And it would give me a 30 with a very different final approach.
Wait, let me try F10 again. Okay, that's weird. F10 didn't work the first time because the puzzle itself hadn't loaded, but it worked the second time.
But yeah, so this is my not 30. It has silver double mores and silver inputs, but it doesn't grab them until legal times for those to be produced in an actual solution. And it does like a mist of dowsing batch process to fully assemble the outputs there in one bonding station yet again. Like, I was always committing to one bonding station, which was a big blind spot. But this would have gotten me to 30 had I made a solution that puts metals onto those glyphs to make this happen. The Moors was the reason it died. The Moors could not feasibly get there in that time.
Is there anyone watching this who actually enjoys liqorice?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I do not.
Oh, this is fucking disgusting. Oh, I can't stand it. I'm still on the first page, by the way.
Do, but no, I don't.
Yeah, this was the this was the brainworm that ate up my last week of attempts. And even then, I was attempting 30. So when Spect had 29 and said it was a failed 28, I just kind of knew I was outclassed. The world had found something that I was not successfully able to even look for. That sweet spot multi-bonder that connects everything perfectly.
You know, on the one hand, you could frame this as like, oh, we were overestimating Biggie, but I think it's the other way around. I think the community underestimated collaboration and what that gave. Because it's not like, it wasn't like one person who got a 28 all by themselves. Like, Fiesta was working off like stuff that we were talking about with Rolani's theorization at the beginning, and Spec 98 was working off what Fiesta did, and then Fiesta was in return worked off what Spec 98 did. That's how that 28 happened. So I was absolutely.
Yeah, I think if we had made this a hush hush puzzle, 29 might have won it, and myself might have taken second. Like, that's kind of the status. But we made it something cooler, and as a result, I'm really proud to have created this puzzle, and I'm really happy that the world created the solution they created.
Yeah, because like last night when I had to concede that I wasn't going to finish my 29, I was like absolutely gutted and felt like a hack and imposter or whatever. But then like I had to look and like at the submissions, and then I saw Biggie only get a 31, and that just like made me remember that like, oh wait, we were human. Like there was only so much we were ever going to do by ourselves.
I'm curious to see Spect's impression here, because, I mean, from what we can see on Discord, Spect was silent from mid-June until posting that 29. So, if he was inspired by Fiesta, it was not something that he said. And so, Spect in chat here saying 29 wouldn't have happened, might not even tried the puzzle if it wasn't for the collaborative aspect. I'm curious if that's because...
I'm curious, what if it was a tournament puzzle and you had to try it? If it was a tournament puzzle, I might have pulled off a 29. I'm not sure anyone would have pulled off a 28.
Yeah, I'm guessing, like, there was a lot of guts in Fiesta's first solve, the 33 that became a 31. It was committing to n equals 8, showing the world what an n equals 8 pipeline looked like and the problems that it would run into. And if Specs didn't start until Fiesta submitted that 31 or 33, whichever version, to the Discord, then maybe Fiesta has kind of a claim to deparalyzing the world, because just showing the n equals 8 solutions that are chucking all the pieces of molten residue through the pipes and making them work as well as someone can, that start is the reason that this solve exists, would be an amazing part.
I think Fiesta is the MVP of this week.
I think one advantage of the only 8 approach is that you can really have 2 symmetric pipelines, because if you take a 9th input, it can only serve 1 pipeline basically.
Yeah, I mean, you could take 10 and be me.
Yeah,
10
okay.
is pretty bad. Maybe not bad. I think it's good. I still want to call myself good. I just want to highlight how astounding the end result of the world is.
Yeah, honestly, actually, now that I think about it, if this was like a tournament setting and I had no help whatsoever, because I didn't break off from the community until like halfway into the week, by which time I had already like seen Rolani's theorization, and like that theorization convinced me about the n equals 8 route. If I had to try and work that out by myself, I'm not sure I would have. So like even then, I might still not have ever pulled off a 29 of like completely my own volition. Oh, fucking hell. Sorry if me eating licorice is not pleasant to listen to.
Yeah, so I'm tempted to make some comparisons to High Gloss Finish, because that's one where I did my best, and and it's just partly because of how complex this puzzle is, that there are always things you didn't think of. And I know that I was kind of being a brat about it during Explosive Logic Unit, where someone else tells me, there's always something you didn't think of. And I responded, yeah, but I'll have beaten that too. But in these really complex cycles puzzles, there are so many macroscopic ideas that might work or might just be a dead end. And I think I got stuck on dead ends. I think I did a 27, which is a dead end. If it's not, I'll be shocked and we'll learn that in 20 years. And then I worked on wasteful pieces and then odd one outing them, which is a limited approach, but it gets you results. But the well laid out n equals 8 didn't exist to me because I kind of gave up on laying it out well in the interest of trying to lay it out perfectly. Did my audio screw up, or is no one? Zorflax, are you muted? Yeah, I think Zorflax is either muted or only coming through on Twitch.
Yeah. Am I coming through?
Hey, there you are.
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, no, nothing wrong on my end from everything. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay. You were probably gagging on liqorice and hit the mute button unexpectedly.
Yeah, if it's just unpleasant to listen to, I can save the rest of the liqorice for post-stream, but I did buy myself a couple of jam donuts to wash out the taste afterwards. Oh yeah, I was just trying to talk a bit about my own approach, because like I gave up on 28 from the outset. Like, this whole pivot idea is an admission that I will never get a 28. But then from there, it's like, oh, everything has to be min latency. Everything has to like bond on this cycle and the very next cycle, and then has to output in the very next cycle. And yeah, having being just one player, chasing that perfectionism, it's yeah, it can tunnel you. It's funny how the perfectionism tunnels you, because like, yeah, no, if I had settled for something like a 31 or a 32, and then just like, iterated a bit more patiently, I probably could have like sussed out the conceptual, hurdles needed to pull off something, sub 30. But the end, the fact that I don't think any one person managed to get anything below 31, and that like the 28 was a community effort, I think it's just, yeah, I think it is a triumph of collaboration. Even though throughout the week people were talking about group project syndrome and how we're never going to get anything done and didn't seem like enough was happening quickly enough. But it did eventually happen, and then when it did, like, yeah, it was so much more powerful.
Yeah, between Fiesta putting his quote-unquote stake in the ground, and then Spect with skill and maybe luck, maybe just prescience. Like, what gets you this layout, I'm not sure, but the attempt came informed from Fiesta's efforts, which I see that confirmed in Discord chat, so I'm going to think is like one of the best things I could have read, because that means the world has benefited from the world a lot more than I had initially thought. Because like, yeah, if Spect single-handedly beats me, cool, Spect is a Psychos god or something. But like, if the world beats me, that's the result I'm happy with.
Yeah, I think you rightfully said it's impossible to tell what would have happened if this was like a tournament puzzle and we were all left to our own devices.
There was a point during the 28 secondary optimization I was like, I want to get in on this. I want to optimize something too. And I found that triangle track next to the input, and then Kaliarisis posted the exact same thing like 15 minutes later. I was like, okay, they've got it. I don't really get to help.
I had to stop myself from looking at it all week, because like I hadn't finished yet, and I couldn't just like, I didn't want to stare at it and cheat. This isn't. I like to think
Yeah.
I'm the boss. I like to think I don't. I like to think I wasn't going to pull a light bringer or anything.
I thought I had not seen it, but then I remembered it, so I must have. Oops.
Oh no, that's right.
But yeah, I think whenever you showed me partial designs as like rubber ducking, I was thinking that orientation of your silver and Moors is gonna bite you real bad.
Did you know that?
I was talking with my partner. We had a couple of very interesting conversations about this. She brought up things of like, these people should talk to their therapists about perfectionism because it'll stop you from doing anything if you think you can only do it perfectly. And then also like, yeah, I'm showing like Zorflex is really trying on his own now, and like he might beat me if he gets this design completed. But what he's shown me so far will have a real issue with that final assembly, just because the orientation of things.
That is very much the part I would have tried to redesign if I like had another, if I had more time, if I had like a third session or whatever. I would have that probably would have been, yeah, that probably would have been the goal. But yeah, because the perfectionism really gets in the way for me. I know that in particular, because I spent 2 full sessions and never actually got like a proper working solve at like, you know, n=8 full throughput or whatever.
Yeah, I probably had spent 6 hours on the puzzle, giving up on 27 before I decided, all right, this session I'm going to sit down, take the metal input every 3, use only enough to make 1 silver, and get us all. And that was a 46. It's in the Biggie blog post if you want to see the actual 46, but it was definitely I need to break the spell. I need to get something so that I have a sense of what solving this puzzle even looks like. And when I got to the end, I was like, even at this speed, assembly is hard.
I see Rubik's in the chat saying they can't, saying she can't hear anything. Am I coming through alright?
That was when you were muted. That was a while ago.
Oh. I found it kind of funny that you only ever had like 4 Vitae's waste per 6 outputs with this n=8 thing, because it just made the Vitae really easy to deal with. Because on my
the second Vitae doesn't even need to move off of Animismus until the solve is complete.
Because on my working pipeline, like I have a single arm and a disposal here. I had designs where it was literally just like a multi-arm like that or like that. And I did find it very amusing how if we go to my failed solve, if we play it, I just bunch up the Vitae in the middle.
If there wasn't enough space taken up by arms, don't worry. There's Vitae there now too. Yeah, that was something I remembered seeing in Pentapig's high gloss finish, is that like you need to leave enough space for certain tasks, and in that one I was specifically storing water and air after they've been duplicated, but before the metal is ready for them to bond into an output. Like, you have 1 atom per tile, so you have to store them. You have to make a plan that gives enough space to store them, which might mean other things move further to get around that. Like, having a sense of where things go before you've programmed it is a big skill that I sometimes hit, sometimes miss.
I found it amusing that you didn't have an n=8 thing, because like when I was playing it myself, I thought n=8 was like intended, like this is the best way to do it.
Oh, it was. I just didn't succeed, and I never kind of came back to it. I thought reducing n on my L=10 solution was going to get me further. There was a gap. There was a gap in like, what if I give myself exactly 3 extra cycles on an n=8? Now, same if I say, what if I give myself 2? I didn't make those solutions. They were daunting. Needing to reuse metals from outputs in different ways, like, I think that the people who got that to work are on a different level than me. I'm good at something, but this Cycles puzzle, wasn't actually a great match for my strengths. It was a great match for theoretical strength. And the idea of Biggie was what you guys needed to compete against.
Yeah, Bist is asking in chat about the reveal. All the souls have been shown and revealed. For a while, we're literally just like talking about cycle theory and the puzzle and the effect of collaboration and perfectionism and that kind of thing. And I'm very slowly eating licorice. I'm on my 4th piece. It's disgusting.
I'm curious how many people submitted showcase, because I know Gecko said that they made.
We do have showcases, yes.
Cuckoo made an all arms on the same track. I was amused looking at Cuckoo's solve, thinking, you know, if people look at that solve and really take its ideas seriously and optimize it, they'll make my solve. They'll make a slightly wasteful 35, and then they'll odd one out it to a 31.
Well, I think that's as good a segue as any for the showcases. Okay, first one by Cuckoo52. I think this is a classic one-track solve.
And yeah, it's using exactly 1 silver and 1 more's worth of each molten residue, which is a convenient amount of input to take, because then it becomes like full throughput with 2 of each input.
Oh, the licorice is like, I can leave it in my mouth and it's tolerable, but then as soon as you bite into it, oh.
I have come here to experience Zorflax's pain with licorice firsthand.
You're in
I
luck.
It's very impressive that these track loops kind of work. I have no idea how Cuckoo programs them.
Pain, I assume.
They mentioned in Discord that they have a method, but then been no more specific than that. Staircase method on this is completely awful because you have to select things across several screens, which...
The method is called masochism.
Yeah, maybe. You just memorize exactly the 84 instructions and then type them out one by one on all the arms.
Knowing Cuckoo 52, that sounds very much possible.
I do like the cute bonding pattern of the air. Now that you don't have to worry about getting it on in one fucking cycle, you can just like use a couple pivots and it looks cool.
Yeah, I was thinking when I was making the puzzle that for at least one of the 2 air, you could keep them bonded until the second to last step and then have the last step debonding them. But that didn't happen in any solution that got under 35 cycles.
Some would have been an interesting metric for this puzzle.
I mean, you're allowed to still optimize it. I would love if this puzzle got a full treatment, but it was mostly designed for cycles. So there will be some metrics that are probably a done. Cost is going to be build waste and also make a... I think you have to use purification because silver is not available in the input. So yeah, 3 tracks of waste.
Spec98 mentioned area...
You have disposal, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, true. So then, not waste.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the one time in Brookie's tournament where I didn't realize disposal was free and I tried to make an area secondary on a cost solve that would have made a giant waste sphere. Because sphere is the smallest way to store that many atoms.
Which puzzle was that again?
Might have... I don't remember. It was the first one in Brookie's, I think. It might have been... It wasn't Welcome to House Colvin, though, so it wasn't...
It's week 1 that's improved explosive file.
It wasn't improved explosive file.
Yeah, it wasn't. And I'm pretty sure week 3...
was it Mist of Dowsing? No.
It must have been Welcome to House Colvin.
Disposal, because I made a 1-track solve. Well, I mean 2 tracks, but...
Yeah, it must have been Welcome to House Colvin, because you have a lot of waste if you're doing that one.
Yeah, fair.
Alright, we're gonna move on. I'm eating licorice, so it's Not pleasant, but
How many pieces left?
3.
Get back.
Alright, so
Do you prefer these or the tissues?
I would take the tissues. Okay, so this we have a couple of TI Souls by Gecko. This is the first one.
Oh, nice.
Ignore the solution title. It's not half tea. It's 1/6 tea.
It's 1/2 of 1/3 T, because the arm that actually takes input to make half of an output.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know. Where is?
That won't change the stream title though.
Too bad. It's the thought that counts.
Unless you refresh, then it will. Oh wait, it won't because you're changing the
Yeah, it
pocket
won't.
version, no, not the original version.
Yeah, it won't. It won't. I just.
Yeah.
It's the thought that counts.
Alright, so I see the source for Moors, and I see the source for silver, and I see the source for the air. You just gotta throw them all together. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, the solution makes sense. Very cool. Nice job, Gecko.
Alright, there is another solution from Gecko that improved on this though. Bringing it down under 50 Ti. And I think this one actually is half T. No way. Why would it? It might not be.
Wow, looks very different.
TI redesigns, very bold.
I mean, a lot of people probably weren't doing much this week anyways, other than last call BBS.
It's good that the air grabbing arm is able to put the two air in the exact same place, and the tri-arm rotates to make it join to the same output. That's the
nice.
geometry that I was imagining when I was making this. Not like as a cycles geometry, but just like you want the two airs to be able to land on the same bonder pads.
Okay, so this is half T.
I think it's still different bonder pads though, but just the same position.
True. Yeah. The bonder on the right activates only on the second one, left only on the first one. This is a really cool solve. I'm noticing now how the piston that pivots the T shape has two very different but both effective purposes.
I wonder how useful my Metal Chaos experience would be for this as a TI puzzle.
Oh no.
I reckon I could come in real handy on this one.
Oh no.
Hey Zorflex, do you want to eat tissues if one of us gets a better TI solve in the next week?
Oh.
Does it look like you sure love making bets?
Oh, there's only one tissue if I lose. Alright. Right, you got a deal.
Do it.
Man, it's so easy to get
Yes.
a deal with you. That's kind of worrying.
It's only one tissue if I lose.
Cool. Yeah, you and I will both make Hush Hush TI solves on Nightmare Fuel. We've seen
Oh, we're
Gecko's
trying to
49, but we can make it go lower if we find something.
I'm
can
not
really
eating a
wait.
second tissue if I don't beat Gecko.
So it's the champion of tournament TI vs the inventor of surrender flag TI.
Zorflex has quite a few claims to TI fame, to be fair. Surrender Flare is the one that people like the most, but Metal Chaos has a lot of
Metal Chaos. So sounds pretty exciting.
There's also a couple of others where I invented tech. I think, what's it called? Warming Tonic.
Yeah, the warming tonic tech.
There was,
I used that for I used warming tonic tech for I don't remember my own puzzle names. Radio receivers.
There's also a tech, the tech I used for precision machine oil was pretty cool.
Mhm.
But anyway, that is a conversation. We'll we'll handle that like after everything else at the very end of next week's stream. So we'll do like next week's puzzle, beginning to end, and the showcases, and then we'll do.
Oh yeah, have we showed next week's puzzle?
No, we have not. Oh yeah, we usually
okay.
do that before the showcases.
It doesn't matter
I
that
forgot
much.
completely. I have to stop it since this reveal was going to be far shorter because we're showing literally 3 people.
Yeah.
guess it's
It
cool.
doesn't quite matter that much. We can finish the showcases.
Yumi, World, and what was his name? Who was like submitting independently of the world, kind of through a channel that wasn't otherwise broadcast. Like they didn't show up on just
Lunvang.
Ludwig. Yeah,
Who? What?
Yeah, we got a new submitter who like.
Oh.
someone put together a 56 cycle solution and submitted it on the website, and there was
Nice.
nothing connecting them to Discord. I don't think they talked to the world. It's just that's their solve. They made a 56.
Huh.
So yeah, Cold has to eat a mint because I technically
What
One
did
day,
Cold say?
got a 51 to beat Ludwig.
Oh, what did he bet?
All right. Next up is an overlap solved by Mr. Puzzle.
Ah yes, Mr. Puzzle's classic strength.
Zoom in.
Wait, do you want zoomed in
I like
further?
the clockwork arm. This would be a very good sum solve if it wasn't overlap and expensive.
Arm 6 kind of hurts as well, actually. If it... Yeah, if it wasn't for Arm 3, yeah, I reckon you slow this down a bit somehow. I'm not familiar with overlap tech, so I don't know how easy or difficult that is. And then, like, make it so that Arm 3 and 6 don't eat so much area. You got, like, a hell of a sum solve.
I guess if you allow multiple disposals, then there's a lot of excess cost going right now. Because you can just evaporate a lot of things in place instead of needing to move them.
Arm 6 doing a full revolution is not good for area. Yeah, it's not. But this is overlap. But this is just overlap. We don't care about magics here.
Yeah, I was joking. I mean, I meant it when I said this might be a good sum solve. It obviously needs a few touch-ups.
Yeah, you activated my sum brain. That's what happened with that.
Zorflax pushing up his sum-shaped glasses. Actually,
It's like a
I'm not certain
muscle.
how easy
Like
it is to hear in the stream, but I like how musical it is. Because like all the bonding kind of happens on.
Oh yeah, I have to listen to the stream.
Oh yeah, that's pretty musical actually. Nice. Oh god. Alright, I have 2 pieces of licorice left. I can still taste the last one in my mouth. Alright. Next up.
Listen to the stream. I noticed how the game music seems to be a bit louder than the talking audio.
Alright, next up we have an actual sum solve by Gecko. Here we go, we actually get to talk about some.
The world by a long shot.
The world beat Biggie by 3 cycles.
and yet I'm still confident that had this been completely under wraps, I might have gotten second. But yeah, I'm
What if it
proud,
was
of,
just
I'm
me?
proud of the world, and I'm also proud of myself making a cool puzzle that people seem to like.
But what if it's just Team Spec Fiesta?
I
VSD.
think Fiesta kind of comes to mind as a very dominant team for future team events. Fiesta puts the ideas out there, and Spec finds some efficiency that no one else could find.
BDB's Team Spec Fiesta in the future. You know what they should look into? They should look into refined bronze.
It's interesting to me that this one throws away copper and purifies iron. But when it works, it works.
Am I coming through? Alright, awesome.
Yep.
You are now.
Yeah, I knocked my cord. My mic muted again.
If
A piston and a some salt though. Bold decision.
I'm very curious if anyone did cost optimized throughput here. Throughput's like 5 outputs per 16 cycles. It's not pretty.
out.
Alright. And with that, we'll move on to our final showcase, which was an area solved by Tramper.
Oh, cool. She did a cheated area.
I like the amount of flexibility that 2 pistons on a diamond track gives you.
Did this one put a piston up left of the Cutelli already? Like, I'm curious if there's a missing hex that was just from programming. Yeah, I think that was a programming thing. You can save 2 areas from programming.
Oh.
True. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a swing there.
And there's a pivot.
Yeah, okay, well, it's the only area solved, so it wins by default. But I did think of, like, what would an area layout look like when Specs talked about instructions optimized area for this puzzle? And maybe now that there isn't an effort to try to improve...
Oh, AI? Ew.
Yeah. Like, maybe now that we're not trying to improve an already really strong cycle solve, people can take on other metrics for this. I'm sure that that's not going to be the top priority because it's the weeklies. There's other puzzles coming up very soon. I know that the one that's coming up next should be pretty good. But
The one coming up next is viral.
Yeah. Also, should probably
I'm thinking
add...
about trying area on that puzzle.
Sorry?
I'm thinking about doing area on this last puzzle on Matthew. It's interesting, yeah.
Okay. We could add it
Which is the metric?
as an appendage along with the TI challenge.
Okay, so it's like try area as well. You know, we could always go for 3 metrics. Nothing's stopping us from doing that. Oh, well, the website is.
I mean, we did an impromptu tessellation throughput challenge on a tournament puzzle that had 2 metrics already. 4 different showcase submissions for tessellation throughput.
That was a cool idea, doing tessellation throughput on that puzzle.
I should have
the
made
puzzle
it more
really
complex.
good.
I should have made the puzzle more complex, but I don't know how much y'all would like the cost for that.
Yeah, cost with secondary of area was already a bit of a head scratcher.
It was already, yeah, pretty complicated.
Except that made Turtles a bit too easy.
And even then, Haxton had a unique approach and won it pretty well. Like,
Yeah, but like still, you don't really. It's not really that good to see how many times 6-person tie or something in 2nd place in a
It
tournament
would've-
puzzle.
It would have been more of a problem if, like, it was a 6-way tie for first.
Yeah.
The fact that it's not a 6-way tie for first, I think, saves it a bit. Even though, like, yeah, sure, you don't...
Thanks, Haxton.
Yeah, like, on the flip side, yeah, there's an argument to make it more complex, but that also would have just, like, made it more annoying.
If it was more complex, it probably wouldn't have been Tarkles. It probably just would have been Harms. Tarkles is actually to combat the fact that it was too easy.
Yeah, I mean, the track ended up being very helpful. Would the track have been
No.
very helpful for that? Yeah.
But like, still. Though we haven't seen anybody try, single arm prime solves.
One day we will return to single arm cycles theory.
Single arm cycles is actually a pretty fun metric.
Alright, we'll let this make one more product and then we will do a puzzle reveal.
I've posted the Biggie blog post in the two Discord channels, the thread and the main one, and then I will edit that post as soon as you have the YouTube video for the stream to include it.
Sure.
Awesome. I'm curious what kind of metrics Panic has for us from next year's tournament. It's probably gonna be Panic.
Alright. Our next puzzle, this one is brought to you by Relamni. It's ignition codes. Alright, so...
Oh, this puzzle.
Alright, so, no weird restrictions, don't worry. Your metrics are area and cost.
It's just a weird output.
Yeah, that's not full triplex bonds. That's
Nope.
mixed triplex bonds.
Partial triplex.
I've seen this puzzle with full triplex bonds and thought, yeah, I've seen this already. People have solved it. People have optimized it.
Oh yeah, that's me.
But when you put an individual like only the yellow or only the red, it's got some bite.
What's the metrics again?
Area and cost.
Okay.
Nothing weird. I promise. No. No
Yeah, but
funny
good luck
stuff.
with it.
Actual area cost puzzle.
Well, it's area secondary cost, or I'll just check the
I think
website.
Sorry, cycles is the secondary for both metrics.
Okay. Let me just go open the site. Is it open?
Put it up at the site. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, let me make it open. It is now available.
There it is. Oh, baby.
Damn, there's no flavor text this time. Sad.
I will not speak while this is not this is not collaborative, but I'm looking at this like thinking.
Yeah, I've already done my playtesting, so that'll give me a bit more time to see if I can get Biggie on a TI puzzle finally.
I'm gonna have to read through the Biggie blog in a bit after stream.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It definitely includes more insight into my thought process during making my solutions, because you can see my 31, but you won't see the 5 numbers that I reached before that, or the one that I failed.
Oh, that's okay. Just ignore the Burlow and Animismus glyph. Don't worry about that. That's
I'll give you more than you need.
Burlow and Animismus.
Hey, maybe you need Animismus. Who am I to
Exciting.
judge?
Maybe you're Steven.
Maybe you need a Burlow will. Who am I to judge?
Maybe you're Steven, you don't need the Burlow wheel and you're making your own. Oh wait, you can't do that.
You can.
Well, you can use the Burlow wheel to make the Burlow wheel.
I use the Burlow to destroy the Burlow.
The 6 duplicity stones.
Oh, and
Why is there a debonder here? That has me scared.
Debonders are very useful.
Yeah, what if you triplex bond wrong? You gotta fix it.
Wait, can debonders undo triplex?
Yep.
They
Yeah,
can.
Debonders can undo triplex, except they undo them all.
I do not understand how to make a good area solution here.
That's a good
Good luck.
thing. Let's figure it out over the course of a week.
Are we working together, or is this all individual?
Nope, not this time.
Well, you can make
This time it's
teams.
individual.
But
I mean,
it'll-
yeah, you can make teams.
It'll be back to like normal teams.
With the max size of 3, which I remember Zorflax said.
Yep.
I didn't know this was a rule, but like nobody has been challenging it. question, like biggie papers, papers. But
Now
yeah, this
it's
is
time
time
to-
this puzzle.
Now it's time to figure out where to put the solution puzzle files, or puzzle files, on my computer, because I use Linux. Yay!
That's a puzzle. That's a puzzle in and of itself.
Exciting. Ask Cold. Cold knows.
No, but it's not. The point is, it's not on the website. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, the website only says. I think it's similar to Mac.
I'll figure it out. No, I'll figure it out. It's not. It's cd.loc.
Yeah, but Cold knows. Ask Cold.
So do I actually. No, I just figured it out.
Okay, good.
Welcome to the Weeklies. I look forward to your
Welcome
solution.
to the Weeklies.
All right. I think
And
that's.
on that note,
Sorry.
on that note, I'm going to shout out my blog. Come read about this challenge on that, and I'll include this stream link there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As usual, you're allowed. It's back to normal, so you're allowed to use me or any of the other weekly hosts as rubber duckies. You can also use Rolami as a rubber ducky for this week, in case.
Yes, feel free to message me.
And with that, I think we can call that a stream. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
That's okay. Thank you for helping
job,
so much with the
Roland.
commentary. All right. See you next week.
So yeah.
See you.